Well, good morning, everybody. Hello. Hey, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. You are in our Stitchuation room. This is a Monday through Friday virtual stitching retreat. You hang out with me in here, follow me on my sewing journey, and I hope I can inspire you to put something under the needle. Good morning, everybody in the chat. If you're new here, pop in, say hi. I'm new. We have a welcoming committee. Quilt Wench is in charge of that, so she'll probably catch your name. No pressure, my friend. And if you haven't already, please jump into the chat and say hi. I'm from wherever, and we love everybody here, and we love new people. And here come the girls. I could hear the nails. Yeah, we're going to say good morning to the girls. Well, there they are. Let me move the table out of the way if I can a little bit here. Oh, my goodness. Here's the little bag. Are you in shot, Dottie? Usually not. Yeah, there you go, sweet girl. And there's my little Frito. Aw. There you go, girls. She sits so polite and waiting so patiently. Yes, good girls. When on the way back from Arizona, I was chatting with the gentleman that was sitting right next to me. And you guys want to go brush your teeth? Look, I got sticks. Oh, boy. Y'all, these are rawhide, triple chew beef, chicken, wraparound rawhide, something. Not fake rawhide, real rawhide. We're going to go brush our teeth. We got to get around Spanky to go out the door. So I'm going to take them over there and then come right back. Come on, let's go. All righty. Come on. Good girls. You know the drill. Yeah, good girls. There you go. Thank you. Go brush your teeth. Bye-bye. We have to get them out because Miss Dottie loves to be in the cords. Oh, my goodness. Didn't have to do that before I had her. Anyway, so it was so funny. He was a younger guy, probably, I don't know, mid-30s. And he was showing me pictures of his kids. He was heading to the Bay Area in California. And just adorable, a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old. And his wife called him about, where she wanted to put the Christmas tree and all this. And he was laughing about that. And then I said, well, these are my babies. And I showed him Frito and Dottie. And he sees Dottie and he goes, what is that? Is that a corgi? And I said, half. It's a new boutique breed that's out there called a cowboy corgi. They're half heeler and half corgi. And he said, oh my goodness. And he pulls up his phone and he's got 2 corgis, purebred corgis, a red one and a tricolor. And the tricolor one, his name is Todd, and he lets those kids play with him like crazy, but the red one doesn't want anything to do with the kids. But I just thought that was so cool. That doesn't have anything to do with sewing, does it? No, that's just my life, you guys, just my life. Okay, today I'm wearing a Merry Christmas shirt from Allie M Threadworks. So I have links to my wear down below in the description box. It says more ... under the video, and you can go on down there and take a look at that. Lots of you got that. Lots of you, there's all kind of good mornings going on. Lots of you got that that Mary Stitchmas shirt yesterday. So I'm going to go to the Wilson County Quilt Guild on the 11th, and I'm going to wear that one too. So I'm going to wear mine to my. I need to join that guild. I've lived in this county 20 years, and I'm a quilter. Do I belong? No, because they meet 20 miles from me. So anyway. Yeah, this is a little more whimsical and fun with little hats on the sewing machines up on the roof. So a lot of very cute, very cute. All righty, you guys. So a quick update. If you are brand new here, I just had a dream box from Create Room delivered and put together last week. I used the app Thumbtack for that. And these 2 wonderful guys showed up, cabinet guys, and put it all together for me. And they did it in a day, which would have taken me a week and a half. So it was well worth it. Oh, y'all are talking about what kind of organizer you are. Yeah, so Ladybugs would love a dream box. That's from Cass, from clutterbug.com. She has a, what type of organizer are you? And then she has some great, you sign up for her emails and she'll send you emails based on your organizational style. So it's very cool. But anyway, so a ladybug would love a dream box because when you have a hot mess, you can fold it up and put it away and you'll never see it, right? That would be great. I'm a bee as well. Yeah, I'm a bee. So I like to see everything in micro categories. That's me. I said big, but that's a butterfly. All right, let's take a look at what I've got done. Now, Just because it looks like this today doesn't mean it's going to stay this way. There's always that. Thank you, Shannon, for your sticker. Oh, you're sweet. She says, I hope your week is threaded with peace, color, and creativity. Aren't you sweet? How thoughtful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, what I have done, and I love this, love. So yesterday I talked to you about how I have all of the thread from Glide. I gave all of my exquisite and isocord to my granddaughter in Colorado Springs. So, because that's how I roll. So Glide has thread color names versus numbers. I mean, they have numbers, but I like the names. And I was able to get them all right here. So check this out. Isn't that nice? So I'll show you. I used Alpha Bitties stuck to little clips. So here are all the threads whose name start with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and so on. The whole alphabet is here. And I can just look for their names. And I love it because, like, if I'm going to get if there's a red in the name of, I can't see it, Monarch. If you're making a Kimberbell project, they'll have a chip, and they're using Glide now, and they'll have a chip that says Monarch on it, right? In the instructions. So now I just go to the M's and I see that the chip is red. So I just kind of immediately, my eyeballs go to the red and it's right here. Fabulous for me. I love this. So I've got all these trays up here. And several weeks ago, I had said that I wanted a place for all things Kimberbell. And that's what I did with this, all of this right here. Let me widen the shot a little bit so you can see it. Okay. So in the door, I have my hanging tubes of glitter, and up in the top, let's see if I can get my finger right there. There's just a little tray with glitter scraps, and that is a tube of pom-poms. Okay. And then you go on down. Let me widen the shot. Hold on a second. Where's my button? Got to have the button. Just giving you guys some organization ideas. Okay. So, okay. These trays right here and they have dividers on them. These are like laces and ribbons and boxes of embellishments. These are all embellishments, and I have them divided out. Okay. And then down here are the foam, the heavy stuff that you need. I sorted out, I had a lot of extra little embellishment kits from projects that I had not done. And so I sorted those. I took them apart and put them into, here's all of the felt that was never used, organza, they usually use that on windows, right? Here's all of the pleather and mylar pieces, Kimberbell mylar. And then this is all the suede. So this is all, and then there was I guess it was a pot holder. I don't know what it was, or a trivet or something, but so these are all in here. And then down here, I have Kimber blanks. No, you're not going right now. You dock. Okay. I actually found, so this came from like a Bella box, but I found an embellishment kit to Mug Rugs Volume 6. And then I went and scrounged up Mug Rug Volume 6 CD and stuck it in there. I didn't even know I had this. How about that? And then there's a Kimber blank for a wine bag. Oh, and more felt. I need to put the felt in the other. Anyway, so that's all good. My tool tote fits right in here. I love this. And then these trays right here are kits. So here is Cup of Cheer. These trays. These are things that I haven't done yet, and Kimberbell fabric scraps that are left over from applique projects. Like here's Shout Hooray. Here's a whole bunch of Kimberbell fabric from kits that never got used. Here is Stitching Through the Holidays. And this is Boardwalk, Vintage Boardwalk. And this down here is We Whisk You a Merry Christmas. Love that. Love that. Love that. So all things Kimberbell are in one spot. There's a onesie blank over there and some more felt. I'm just not sure what to do with those things on that side. And then the point of the dream box for you ladybugs is to be able to go like this, right? And close it up. Now this is going to remain open right here. And then this I am using for works in progress. So there is Enchanted Winter. So I don't have to have it laying out, because the way I do projects is different than you, because I do projects with you together and I schedule them throughout a week or a month or several months. I work on it and then I put it away until the next Wednesday or Thursday or whatever day we're doing that. Okay, so that looks all nice and pretty right there. And then this right here, do I have that in shot? Just kind of barely. Okay. So again, this is the dream box from Create Room, and I got mine from High Country Quilts. They have the best price that I have seen so far. I'm still waiting on my Sew Steady insert. My coffee's in the way and my table's in the way, and you guys can't really see that. Let me roll you up just a little bit. I'm waiting on my Sew Steady insert, because that right there is a sewing, it's a sewing thing that has the hydraulics underneath, and there's a Sew Steady insert. I'm going to put Gypsy, my NQ3700D on there from Brother. Okay, this is all things Lori Holt right here. So individual fat quarters separated by color in these two bins. All of my simple shapes, all of my accessories, her rickrack and all of that, some more scraps from applique. This is Be Happy from Lori Holt, the whole 9 yards, the whole bin is Be Happy. I've always wanted to make that quilt and I have not. It's absolutely adorable. And then we have the Americana Sweetland. This is all the Sweetland right in here. These are backings by Lori Holt. And then down here, I have additional fat quarter bundles and all of that. And these are my project boards from Lori Holt, another binder, and then more fabric and fat quarter bundles and all of that down there. I'm not entirely sure that's going to stay like that, but that's where I'm at right now, because my husband is having a building delivered today that's going to house his motorcycle and the golf cart. And he walked in my room yesterday and he said, I want one of those. And he was pointing to that 5-high rack right here that has all the fabric on it. And I've got another one. So I'm emptying that off right now so he can get that into the building once it's delivered. Very busy. I should call Clutterbug to come organize you. It would be a great video. Yeah, you know, you've got to do that months in advance, because Jean, her schedule is just crazy for people who want. Plus, I'm not a member of her channel. I'm just a regular subscriber. But yeah, that would be very cool. Anyway, so, you know, part of the problem is I've already gotten rid of a lot of stuff. It's not a problem. It's a good thing. So she wouldn't be able to tell me to get rid of things. But I'll be honest, I have a lot of fabric that is on bolts. I'm doing an honest check with myself, okay? So now that that is taking up the wall that those two metal racks used to take up, where am I going to get the wall space for the metal rack that remains, right? So I'm just kind of going through this in my head. And one of the things I got real honest with myself about, with all of the fabric that is on, let me pull this forward, that 5-high metal rack right here, okay? In all honesty, what I reach for the most is on the other end of this shelf right here, and it's my whites, my background whites, whether they're Christmas or whatever they are. But everything else that's on here in these folded bolts, I haven't reached for that stuff in years. Yes, it's great to have it, but so I'm thinking it might be worthwhile to me to go through it, open them all up, measure them, and put them on sale on our store site so that they go to a good home. So, and it'd be at a deep discount because, again, I don't sew like you do, okay? I sew like vendors when they've got new projects coming out, okay? And then we're going to do them together. So when all the fabric arrives for show and tell from Elizabeth Hartman, that adorable little one with all the little animals showing everything, that fabric is specifically for that project. And if I have extra, that's great. I can keep it. But I don't really, very often, I'll do it. Bernadette says, I'd be all over that. So, yeah, right. So being Mo Weber says, being honest, if you're challenged with fabric selection, kits only. That's me. That's me. I'm a kit girl through and through, y'all. I've never made bones about that. Being able to select fabrics is not my thing. I struggled. I talked about making the back of a pillow today. We made this a couple weeks ago, right? And it needs a backing, and I had to wait for, first I had to find the additional fabric, which I did. And then I had to wait for it to get here so that I can make this, because I took this over to my stash and I stood there and I held this up and I thought about it and I thought about it and I wasted a lot of time and I got real stressed and overwhelmed. And then I said, I'll just wait. I'll just find this fabric. I know it's still out there. So there's that. I just do not go in when I'm making kits. I just not, y'all, we need to keep our designers in business, right? That's the way I think about that. We've got to keep our great designers in business. And so if I'm hoarding old fabric that I'll never use, to me, I was just honest with myself. I sat there last night and I'm looking at this thing because I've got to make room. And I was like, when is the last time I went through that? Really, truly. I might have found a Halloween, but I put my backing separate, so that's different. But I was just like, when is the last time I really went through this and reached for something? Because I just have decided I'm a kit quilter. I know I'm a kit quilter and I love doing kits. So anyway, you just bought your first kit, Angela. Good for you. Yeah. Okay. So you have Newligans. So now I have to go through my fabric. Well, a lot of this fabric. So I've been in this room now for 3 years. And a lot of this fabric was in my old sewing room out on our back patio that we had converted into my sewing room. And you're welcome. Vicki ordered that t-shirt from yesterday. Yeah, it was super cute. A lot of the fabric that's on here came from that room, that came from my first sewing room in the house that was an unused bedroom. And I just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger with embroidery now and all that. So I look at it and I go, how much? Okay, this has been sitting here for 5 years, 7 years. That's not doing that fabric any favors. So I'm going to be gracious. All righty, you guys. See this now, Kimberly. Yeah, Kimberly's right. Exactly. She almost always changes something. So kits don't work for her. I get that. I do. And you know what? God love you. That is not me. That is not me. I don't even change a thing. I'm like, if this is the fabric for the backing, then that's the fabric for the backing. If this is the fabric they want me to use in that, I'm fine with that. I have no stress when I do that. I get people that I know some of you have fabric that's 25 years old. Why are you still holding on to that? Why? So, all righty. So I do want to show you one thing today. I have a link to it below in the description box. It's a non-affiliate link. This is Sew Time Accessories. They have these at Mulqueen Sewing. These are so cute. So this is for the stitcher. This is a gift for the stitcher that has everything. They're not cheap. I'm going to tell you that. Just brace yourself for the sticker shock. But I've got a link to it below at Mulqueen Sewing. Okay. If you have a stitcher in your life, or maybe it's you that wants something cool, check out these feet. Look at that. So let me get my glasses so I can tell you what these are. Hold on a second. These are so cool. And I want to thank Darren Mulqueen for these. They were my gift for Christmas, he says. Okay, so Ultra T High Performance Presser Foot Non-Stick. For you bag makers that sew in vinyl, there you go. You get a 1/4 inch quilting foot. That's this one. So it has 1/4 and 1/8. Okay. And it's also used for echo quilting. You have an all-purpose foot to add fabric control and stitch quality on most fabrics. And then you have, and that has the button. Now these are for brother and baby lock machines, okay? They don't fit, they're not designed, you know what I mean? These are the all-purpose, where you got that drop foot. And the last one is a decorative stitch foot for decorative and embellishing stitches on most fabrics, great for applique and directional stitching. Very, very nice. So you can see the applique going the edge of the foot. If you insist on doing it the old-fashioned way, you can see the edge of the fabric going in right there. That's what that's for. So anyway, very nice little gift box. Whoever gets this will be absolutely delighted. So very thoughtful gift if you have a stitcher in your life or you want to get one for yourself. So you got the set for your serger. Awesome. Yeah. All brother machines, except for your straight stitch, right? So these will fit on the Luminaire. These will fit on the Stellaire, the NQ3700, the 3550W, all the way down. Any brother sewing machine, these will fit. It's that standard drop foot that has a little, you need the piece that attaches to the machine that has a little button on the back that releases that clip so that these can clip on. Okay. There you go. See the little bar up there? They clip onto that. And the point of this right here is to go over thick seams. This locks when you get up on top. This, you press this in and this locks it so that it doesn't, you don't get a big jumpy stitch. Okay. Yeah, if you want, these are Teflon. That's really what they're made out of. They're Teflon feet, okay? They're wonderful. So, and they're for Christmas, the red. Very nice. All righty. Hump jumper. That's right, Evelyn. That's what we call them, hump jumper. Yep. Okay, so let's get to making the back of this adorable pillow. So, well, I got a link to them below, where it says more ... whatever. Tap that, open it up. I've got a link to them right there under featured items. Okay. All righty. So this pillow came from, this is the Kimberbell Classics Volume 2. And this was called the Deck the Halls Project. So it's just on there, right? So this is a machine embroidery design. Been doing this. I got a link to it. So you can see the stabilizer is still on there. I could cut that away. I guess I should, right? Because I missed it somehow or another on both sides. This was a triple hooping. So this was a lot of fun to do. And I showed you guys how to use the thumbtacks to make everything line up. And it worked just perfect. So I hope you got a chance to watch that. If not, go back and look for this thumbnail on my channel in the live streams. And you can see how we did that. So today I want to put the fabric on. I got my fabric. I went looking. Isn't the internet wonderful? Oh my gosh. I found it at So Creative Cottage in Fairview Park, Ohio. Is that any of y'all's home quilt store, local quilt store? So Creative Cottage, Fairview Park, Ohio. Very nice. All right. Oh, real quick, let me show you how yesterday's project turned out. So I used one layer of tearaway stabilizer. I did not use SF101 on the backs of the applique fabric, which was the gold here and the white in the flag. Everything else was machine embroidery. Heavy, heavy, dense stitching on the flagpole and in the field of blue, and not a single pucker, you guys. It turned out beautiful. Okay. Now I'm going to make another one of these this week. I'm not sure which day, but I want to tell you. So yesterday I talked to you about using magnets to float your projects. Okay. And it turned out just beautiful. All right. Now, I'll show you how when we do the next one. When I cut this out, this is my 6.5-inch Cute Cuts ruler from Riley Blake. I'm going to get this all straight and settled. If you want to stitch that final stitch, which is the crosshair, just change your thread out to black so that, and it's a big basting stitch. It's easy to pull out. Okay. So you can do that, and you line that crosshair up on the lines with this so that you get it straight and exact, okay? So when I cut this out, I'm not taking the stabilizer out of the hoop, okay? I'm gonna put this exactly where it needs to go, and I'm gonna cut it out, and then I'm just gonna have this square, okay? And then I'm gonna remove the fabric frame that was left behind. But what I also left behind was the magnetic backings. Okay. So then it's really easy to just put my next square on there, and I'll just have a little smaller piece of stabilizer. So I'm going to just use that original frame over and over and over as much as I can until it gives up the ghost, and then I'll make another one. So that's a really, really fun, smart way to easily do this. Okay. So I'll probably do it tomorrow. So come on back and I'll show you how I do the next block. Am I here tomorrow? I have appointments. Y'all, it's near the end of the year, and you've got, your medical things, insurance, you got to use all of that up before the end of the year for deductibles and all that. What happened? Where did I buy all my glide thread, and what weight did I get? So Dee Dee Ray, the glide thread is 40 weight. I got mine from Austin Sew and Vac in Austin, Texas. I was doing a class up there, and I got one of every color. So, it's great if you want to build them up. That's where I got my glide. So, all right. Y'all are having a good time in there in the chat. Okie doke. So when you're making the backing of a pillow, now I know some of you are very frugal, and I appreciate that. But if you chintz on, or skimp is a better word, if you skimp on the fabric that you need on the back of a pillow, while it'll look just fabulous on this side, what happens is on the back, you can see, okay, I did what the pattern called for, but the pattern didn't realize I had such a puffy pillow. Okay, so now I can set it like this, and that's fine. And then you move it one little bit, and we're back to seeing plumber's crack on the back of my pillow. Alrighty. So what I like to do is to have a piece large enough to cover this like 1.5 times. Okay. So I think I got just a yard of this. Yeah, I got a yard. It seems like, and you do use more fabric for the backing than you do for the front. Okay. So I've got this trimmed to size. I'm just going to set it. Again, I don't get real scientific on my amounts and whatnot, but this should work. This fabric is from On Dasher by Sweetwater for Moda. And now here's another little tip too. While you can say, I've got yards and yards of white fabric, so I'm just going to put a white backing on this. That's fine. You can, but I would recommend then kind of doing a frame around it of matching fabric from here, because you can always see, like this is contrast fabric, but it's the same line on the back. It's just as pretty. It's fine. But this didn't come with backing fabric, okay? I had to find my own. I don't think that kit came with backing fabric. Maybe it did. Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, it did. But when you buy a kit and it's got the backing from whoever you bought it from, they're trying to conserve fabric, right? So, okay. I like zippers too, Eli. Yeah, I do too. So while you can use a contrasting fabric, I would recommend a solid that is of a color that matches, okay? Because you're gonna be able to see the white if you use a white. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, right? That's just me. Okay, so I'm leaving about a 1/2 inch out here, 1/2 inch all the way around. And I'm just going to make a cut 1/2 inch away from the outside of the pillow edge. Oh my goodness, y'all. After we got done yesterday, I had to go to the grocery store. Y'all, it was Monday before Thanksgiving. And I'm getting my rotary cutter. I guess I got there about 10:30. Y'all, I live in a little town and we have a smaller HEB. That's my grocery store. There was no parking. Okay. You had to weave through the aisles to get whatever you needed. And I didn't need anything for Thanksgiving. I've got all that taken care of. Well, I got home. It was nuts. I got home and my husband had an appointment for his eyeglasses at Costco Optical on Wednesday. And I got home and I said, I'm going to do something nice for you because I love you, but I'm going to give you a really good piece of advice right now. You need to move that appointment. Because if you want to go to Costco the day before Thanksgiving, you're out of your mind. Y'all, it was awful. It just here at my little store, it was awful. I can't imagine Costco. So then he tells me later in the day, he says, oh, I moved that appointment. And I said, oh, good. That's good. He says, yeah, it's December 22nd. And I didn't even think about it. And I woke up in the middle of the night last night and I thought, December 22nd. He says, yeah, it's Saturday at 1:30. And then I thought, the Saturday, 2 days before Christmas Eve, again, bad decision. You know, men don't think like that, right? They don't think like that. Dude, you don't want to be in that Costco parking lot at Saturday at 1:30, 2 days before Christmas Eve. Crazy. The gas lines alone. Oh, I got to tell y'all, we have Walmart Plus. That is the best thing. You get Paramount Plus with it. It's only $89 a year. And you get 10 cents off a gallon of any of their fuel at their Murphy gas or the Walmart gas stations. So I'll drive down. My closest Walmart is 20 miles. It is worth the drive because my fuel up here, I live in South Texas. My gas up here is I know y'all in California right now are going, what? My fuel here in South Texas is $2.53 a gallon, $2.59, $2.53, maybe $2.70 if it's high. But I can drive all the way down to Floresville and it's $2.39. The last time I filled up was $2.39. So there's 20 cents a gallon right there, different than my town. And then with my 10 cents off because of Walmart Plus, this is not, I don't have an affiliate with them or anything. I'm saving 30 cents a gallon cheaper than getting it here in my local area. Plus I get to go into Wally World. Don't you love that? Okay. So I have enough fabric here for my pillow and then some. Okay. $2.55 in Baton Rouge. Yeah, Vicki, we've got cheap fuel here in the South. They don't have to travel it as far from the refineries down here. That's what I think. I don't know. $2.45 at Sam's. There you go. Texas Panhandle's $2.29. Yep. Yeah, y'all, fuel has come down, way down. Gas has come way, way down. I remember when it was almost $4 a gallon a couple of years ago, I was having a fit. Ooh. And trying to fill the 300 gallons, however much it takes on the motorhome. Ooh, Lord have mercy. I'd take out a loan. Okie doke. Electric car? Yeah, but, all right. What you got, Dave? 319 in Yeehaw Junction? Okay. So I'm going to, so here's the deal on this. Let's see. I didn't even look at fuel when I was in Arizona. Didn't even pay attention. Let's see. It wasn't crazy expensive or I would have remembered. So the idea, y'all, is that you want to do like a half. Now, I like to do like a 2/3 and a third type thing on my pillow so that it's not right in the middle. so that the gap over is not right in the middle. Okay. So I would do mine. I like to do it like that so that the gap is a little, I've got just this much that I need to cover. The key is to have a nice size overlap. So I want a good, like a 3-inch. That's me. You can make it as short as you want, but I like a 3-inch gap overlap so that, let me cut this. So that if the pillow gets sat on and it wrinkles and whatever, there's still enough to close and cover it. Ooh, okay. No matter how puffy your pillow is. All right. So there's the one backing piece. See how I just measured? I was very precise and specific, right? 305 in northern Arizona. That sounds about right. That's what I saw in the Phoenix area. I remember it was closer to $3 a gallon. Okay, so there's that one. And then this one. This is how you measure when you don't know how to measure. Okay, I want a 3-inch gap, overlap, about that much. And I like to have it not in the center. So what do I have here? If I put this here, I have 1, 2, 3. That's good. 3-inch overlap on that right here, like this. Okay. That looks good. And then 1/2 inch away on the sides. I like a 1/2 inch seam allowance on these. Okay. And that's so that if it ever pulls apart from romping around, see, I needed that, almost that whole strip. Then you can sew it back. You don't, you're not going to have problems with the seams. There we go. So this is how this is going to go. Plus, when you do it like this, you don't accidentally sew the wrong side, right? I've done that. Sewn a pillow with the fabric the wrong side out. And then you end up going, oh, and you go to flip it. And then you're like, dang it. Okay, so this is going to work. All right. Okay. I'm happy. There we go. I need to iron this. I got to do this iron here. Turn this around so you guys can see what I'm doing. Look at this. I swear my luminaire is over there somewhere. I'm sure of it. I see the thread stand. I know it's around here somewhere. Okay. Oh no, dang it. I had my iron turned off because I was using my press yesterday for something. So I got to let that heat up. Sorry about that. And I'll press both of these. I don't know that I necessarily have to. Okay. Now this is another good use of magnets. Another great use of magnets. Okay. So I have a selvage. This is where people get turned around. I have a selvage edge right here. I don't want that to show on the pillow when it's flipped. So I'm going to put it face down. This is what's going to show on the pillow when it's flipped. Okay. Put 1/2 inch over all the way around. And just get these even like this. It doesn't matter right hand, left hand first. You do want to make sure though, I use the line on a mat to make sure that the fabric's not going wonky sideways or whatever. And it's even on both sides. Okay. You especially want this one to be straight because this is the one that's going to show on the outside. There we go. So your So Tights HDs are good for this. I want to press this if it's hot enough yet. I don't know if it is. I don't think so. It's trying. It's trying. Clips are good. I don't use pins because you'll bend them. We've got so many layers we're going through here. Oh, this is working good. Now, if you're doing a plaid and it's really going to drive you crazy, remember, y'all, this is the back. Okay. Don't get yourself nuts on trying to match your plaids. Just don't do it. If you want to try, you can. So if I was to match my plaid, I don't think that would even work, right? Just not going to work. Okay. Flip the first piece over, selvage out. It is. Lisa, it is. Selvage is out. This is selvage. Right? No? That's what she's trying to tell me. Well, the selvage is actually hanging off the side anyway, so this is going to flip so that this part is seen. Right? Okay. I'm tracking. Selvage on top? No. Now you got me turned around, girl. Flip this piece. All right. But it's outside anyway. Okay. Y'all, believe me, I work in enough give, okay? So it'll turn out fine. Because I'm famous for screwing stuff up. Okay. I'm happy with this. Selvage top. Yeah, okay. That's fine. The selvage is hanging off the edge, y'all. I have a 1/2 inch seam allowance, remember? I got to find my my clips here. Oh. Now, I'm just going to do this. We're going to sew not from this side, but from this side. Okay. I could cut this away. Where's my scissors? Oh boy. And then this piece, this was from the 3rd hooping. Yeah, there we go. All right, this looks good. It's nice and straight. Everything's fine. And then I can just clip these together. Now, when I sew this on, you're going to sew 100% all the way around because you've got the gap in the middle. So you don't have to leave an opening, which is nice. Okay. And I'm going to sew 1 needle width inside of the outermost stitch line. All right. Got these big old clips here. I'll trim this down when I get done stitching it, but I want to leave enough room so that stuff can lay flat. Okay, this looks good. And I'll pin the outside together where the overlap is, okay? So that these don't shift on me at all. So here's what it looks like, okay? So I'm going to stitch right inside of this stitch line right here. Okay. Bye, Debbie, and have a good appointment. I got a massage coming at 11 today. Yay. The building's going to be here at 11 and I won't be. Yay. I'll be on a table. Okay. How do you Google a particular fabric? Take a photo with your phone. Vicki, you can. There's an app called Google Lens, and you can take a picture of the photo that you're of the fabric that you're looking for, and it may be able to find it. Technology is fabulous. Let me do this. We're going to turn around and look at my hot mess back here. There we go. I'll point to me. I'm going to bring y'all down. Hold on. Okay, y'all. We're going down. All right. Yeah, using a serger is great for these too. That knife just goes through it. You're getting a massage too, Amy? There we go. Like mine's, my friend. Which way am I turning my... Hold on, I got to turn my laptop table here. Okay. Y'all, my MacBook Pro is such a finicky little thing, and I had no idea that the wattage that is used by if you're a Mac person, I had the worst time getting what do you call it? Dongles to work on my Mac. Worst time. Couldn't find one. Maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't. It was just such a thing. And everybody was saying, oh, you know, that particular MacBook Pro, it's got a really M3 processor in it. It's designed to do videos. And I was like, well, what is wrong with this thing? So I would spend money on a dongle with like 3 USB ports on it, or however many, a multi, and it just wouldn't read them. It drove me crazy. So it's what money wasted. I was in the Phoenix airport, and there's an iStore in there, and I was like, oh, let me go in and get one, you know, because I've heard, well, you need to get it from Apple in order to make it work, and those are expensive and blah blah. So I went in there, and that's where the lady, I had my laptop with me, and she looked and she said, oh, that one needs a high wattage. Well, she wasn't from, English was not her first language, and she kept saying watts. She said it takes high watts, high watch, high watch. And I was like, what? I could, over here, she said, this one is 60 watts, and this one is 100 watts, and you need 100 watts. And it said it on the box, watts. And I said, oh, I acted like I was stupid. I didn't correct her. Oh, okay. I thought she was saying, like, what's my watch got to do with my laptop? I felt so bad. But we got that straightened out. So I did get, and come to find out, it's not an Apple charger at all. I've got one back here, and it works just fine. So to plug in, and it's got all these things in it. But anyway, so that was my experience in the iStore at Phoenix Airport. So another thing, when you're going to be stitching something that has a whole bunch of layers like this, you're going through batting, and you know, I've got some stabilizer and whatnot. I recommend a 9014 needle, just something a little bit more sturdy to get through all of those pieces with no drama. I also recommend a poly thread. So I'm using Connecting Threads Poly Pro. I buy it by the cone. They're having a big sale. I don't have a link below, but there is a link to it on my blog, powertoolswiththread.com. Oh, also yesterday, if you guys tried to use the hotfix adhesive link and it didn't work, that is fixed. That is the guy who owns Hotfix Adhesive had a special code. He codes his own website. He's very, very technical. Patty says, you're like me, I'd have just played along. Yeah, Vicki, the things we talk about on here. Now, this is from my sewing days, garment sewing days, you guys. When you get to the corner, you'll see me do this, and I'll talk you through it. When you get to the corner, you want to stop right before you get to it and make a 45-degree pivot and sew 1 to 2 stitches. And you can even turn the stitch length down on those 1 to 2 stitches, okay? Get to the end and then turn it back straight again and keep going. What that does is that gives the fabric in the corners room to make a beautiful point. If you are attempting to sew a collar on a shirt, a pointed collar on a shirt, doing that, you will have the most beautiful, non-bulky collar. That fabric just needs somewhere to go, okay? So, oh, good, Betsy. You got your hot fix from my link. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to get in here. And where the 2 pieces cross, right here, let me get that light down so y'all can see. I'm gonna go backwards and forwards just to reinforce where those 2 pieces cross. All right, so here's what's going on. You also might want a walking foot. That wouldn't be a bad thing because you're moving multiple layers of fabric at the same time. Okay, this camera is turned and it's sideways, and I can't fix this. Why can't I fix this? Let me see here. It's crooked, y'all, and I don't know how to uncrooked it. I know there's a thing, but oh, me and this camera. It's the tripod, y'all. hold on here. Let me do this. Let me bring this down. Aha. There we go. Now you're not feeling like you're drunk. Sorry about that. And we'll zoom in a little bit here. My camera guy is on vacation this week. Okay, so that's better. So let me switch this out. And my screwdriver. Where's the screwdriver so I can switch out my foot? Seriously? Oh, you guys. Where's my screwdriver? Why do things walk? I have a screwdriver here, but it's pretty small. That's not the right, that's a Phillips. That won't work. What is that? Oh, that's a glue thing. No, it's a, y'all, my life. I've moved things around. Oh, the big cutting mat and the nail polish trays that hold on my thread are spoken for. So thank you everybody who wanted them. I'm coming over here. I'm looking for a screwdriver big enough to get that foot off. And I can't find one. Why? Why can't I find one? All right. If I have to get into my toolbox, I will. That don't bother me. Okay. I'll just, overkill will work. Oh, here, this will work. I was going to get the one that I have that I swap. I have a whole set of these. My dad had these. I got this from my dad. So this comes out and I've got this big flathead. I've got a whole set of these things and it works. They work well. I could use my brother tool. Oh my gosh. Use a quarter. I don't even have a quarter. Yes, Vicki, it's because I'm rearranging my room. Absolutely. Thank you for your patience and grace on that, y'all. So this is a big screw. And this walking foot, I have to take the screw completely off, which is annoying. But here's what it is. And then this fits on here, I believe. And the little arm, have you never seen the anatomy of a walking foot? So this is the claw, and there's a bar right here, or that little part right there that sticks out, and the claw fits on that. That's what it grabs a hold of. So you got to get this on here and put that on there, and you have to hold it real still and hold your tongue just right to find where that screw goes back in there. This is a high shank straight stitch machine. This is all that it does. And I don't, and the part that gets screwed on is a whole, and I'm not left-handed. So this is where you lefties get the better end of the deal on this. I know most of the time y'all don't. I think that's straight. The biggest thing is to make sure that that claw is over that little bar, because if it's not, it won't go up and down. There, I got it. This is actually easier than using that brother screw tool or a quarter. A quarter wouldn't work right here because this casing is in the way. There. Okay. Now it's on. That turned out to be the right tool for the job anyway. Okay, good. And this thing is loud. It goes clackety, clackety, clackety. So I'm looking, I'll use this other foot to show you what, oh, y'all, the screwdriver's literally right here. Here it is. So I'm going to make sure that this stitch edge right there guides right next to that shorter toe. I'm going to look at that and make sure it guides right next to it. And that way, seriously, it was right here. It just wasn't in the stand, and it was covered with a paper for a quilted snowman. Gosh, my life. Okay. Now, the where I need to double over back and forth is right here. Okay. And right here. And if you want to get your corners just right, okay, you can take a little ruler, and if you want, just kind of 45 it there. And that's where I'm going to stop and give the thread, the fabric, those 2 little stitches, okay? So the overlap is right here, and the overlap is right here, okay? You can just kind of eyeball that, just so you know. If you can do a point, but you get a prettier look when you have given it a 45 stitch as opposed to the going into the 90 degree. All righty, here we go. Sorry. All right, can you see what I see? I think you can. Yeah. All right, so here we go. And I'm going to back stitch when I start and stop. So I'm making sure that that stitch line is running straight along the inner toe, inside of that toe. Oh, this works so nice. I'm going to get right up to that mark that I made. I'm going to turn it 45 so that that line is straight with the inside toe. I'm going to turn my stitch length down to like 1.5. Okay, and then back to 2.5. And now that's how you do that. And you got your little lines and everything. Oh, our hour's up. I'm going to keep going until I finish this, y'all. It's very helpful when you make the markings on the outside. There's my overlap. You can just go to town on this. And I'm at that. I'm going to go down to 1.5, turn it on the 45, 2 stitches, back to 2.5, and I'm ready to go. Those tiny stitches in the corners are going to prevent the corners from getting torn out, unless you have a dog. Then you're on your own. Okay, get right up to my 45 mark, go down to 1.5, 2 stitches, back to 2.5. Back stitch on that overlap. Back stitch on the overlap. This is the Brother NQ 3700D. I'm sorry, it's not. It's the PQ 1500 SL straight stitch. And the Juki does this. The Baby Lock Jane does it. And if you bought the PQ 1600, it did not come with a walking foot. This one did, but the 1600 did not. Where did I start? This is my 4th side. Where did I start? I don't remember, so I'm going to go a little past it, whatever it was. And back stitch, all done. Lovely. See how easy that was? That was great. Take out my pin here. That was great. I got a nice backing. There we go. All right. So if you have to go, thank you so much for spending your morning with me. I appreciate it. If you'd give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. Y'all, I'm about 45 people away from 85,000 subscribers. My goodness, that's crazy. So I'm going to continue trimming this up and getting it ready for a pillow form. But if you need to go, I understand that. So I hope you have a fabulous day. I love you guys. And you go sew something. But see, you just run that through the serger next, Amy? Yeah. Certainly could. Not everybody has a serger. I know. I do. Mine's buried over there somewhere. So I'm going to do this. We're just going to do it the old-fashioned way, okay? Y'all subscribe. Yes, please. Only about 1/3 of the people who watch me are subscribed, if you can believe that. That's nuts. They just come in and hang out. Y'all, it's free to subscribe. You get to all this free content every morning in the Stitchuation room. So I'd love to go over 85,000 subscribers today. That would be amazing. Let me bring you up so I don't have to look down at y'all. Turn this. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to use a regular ruler and my rotary cutter. And now I can get down to that 1/4 inch. You know, I'm going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I just like that. And then the 1/4 inch I'll do on the corners. Is my trash can under in the hole like it's supposed to be? No, it is not. So if I do that, I'll throw it on the floor. All right. So 1/2 inch on the straightaways. Okay. And side 3. And side 4. If you got a really, really poofy pillow, you can put a little pleat in there to give you some room. Right? There we go. Okay. And then I want to do a 1/4 inch on my corners like this. I'm eyeballing. If you cut through it accidentally, just go back and sew it again. It'll be fine. Okay. So here we go. So I have a 1/4 inch seam allowance on my corners and a 1/2 inch on my straightaways. Everything's been double back, double tacked, everything. This is good. I like to put my thumb in there first and then hold it with my finger on one side. If you put your finger in between the 2 fabric pieces like this and like get those open, okay? Like that, and then flip it like this. And you're going to get a nice, beautiful corner. See that? On both sides. If you split that fabric first before you flip it, that's it. This is worth the price of admission right here, you guys. Okay. Find where the 2 fabric layers went together, the top and the bottom where they went together, front and back. That's what I'm looking for. Split those. Okay. Just get them split. And then flip it. Beautiful corner. See? Pretty, pretty, pretty. You learned something today. Kiara says, I learned something. Yay. Yep. Y'all, I've been sewing since Christ was a corporal. I know a thing or two, believe it or not. Here we go. Flip. When you do that, you're going to get right up to that seam point. See that? It just works really pretty. I used to do home dec. That was the very first thing I ever started doing. Making baby nurseries for my friends. And I learned this when I was doing that kind of work. You've got lots of thicknesses, okay? You're welcome. Everybody's like, that's a great tip. Yeah, see, if anybody left, they missed out. There we go. Now that's beautiful. Okay. That turned out so pretty. Now, this is good. So I've got a nice big overlap in there. See how big that overlap is? So now no matter how puffy I put in my pillow, oh, y'all, that was close, huh? Very close on the pattern matching. Okay, I didn't do that on purpose. So now what you need to do, this is how you can tell good stuff, okay? I have a clapper here. I'm going to roll it toward me and then roll it out. And I want to barely see the front of the pillow on that press right there, okay? You can press it before you flip it. Okay, any clapper will do. If you don't have a clapper, abscond a child's wooden block. Okay, Riley Blake makes them. This one is from Gray Rooster. Taylor's Tools, you guys. Look how pretty that is. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Okay. This looks good. I'm using steam to bend the fabric to my will. That's the only time you'll see me really use a lot of steam in my quilting. But this isn't quilting. This is pillow sham making, yeah? Let's see your comments. Hold on. I'm wrapped around here. My laptop stand is, got cords wrapped around it like garland on a Christmas tree. Okay. That's beautiful. Nice and flat. Very, very pretty. Okay. It's this, you know, if you're going to give one of these as a gift, which is a great idea, hostess gift or something, especially if you know their color schemes, this finish is just, it makes the difference so that it doesn't look homemade, is being really diligent about your pressing. Or if you're doing an embroidered gift, to trim those jump threads, no matter how tiny they are, get in there and trim those out. Okay. That just, the finishing is just what makes it really nice. They're going to be amazed. You made that? Oh my goodness, I could never do that. You have to tell them, yeah, it took me months. I had to search for the fabric. I just wanted it to be just perfect for you. Right? That's right, Debbie. Pressing is the real secret in sewing. You're absolutely right. All right. That looks great. Now to find a pillow form, huh? I think there's one in the back cave. Let's go see. All right. Will there be a discount to order this show and tell project? No, Janet. Not that I'm aware of. Oh. I'm pretty sure there's a pillow form in here. My robot's mad at me down there. Is this it? Let me see. What is this? Oh, that's pre-cut batting. I thought I had one. Maybe it's out. Is that it up there? What is that? What is that? Oh my goodness. I've got the bench pillow form in here. Let's see. I need my stool. I need something to pull that down is what I need. Here's something that'll work. I got batting and what is that? Let me see here. Oh, come here. Is that a pillow? Oh, pillow forms. Found one. Yay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Woohoo. Is that too big? Fine. It'll be fine. I just want this done and off my sewing room table so I can. It's perfect. See that? Perfect. Okay. Now, because I reinforced my stitches, it should fit in there. Should. Without tearing the sides open, right? This is going to be a poofy pillow. I probably need one a little poofy. Am I sure it's going to fit? No. We'll see. But it may not. I've got a whole lot of, I think it's too poofy. I got a whole lot of overlap, right? No, it's not going to fit. It's too big. That's okay. I can order another one. Yeah, this is going to be too big. That's what it should look like. It's not going to fit. It's too big. I had another one maybe. Too funny. I don't even know what size this is. It didn't have a label on it. It's too poofy. Look at this. Look how this was made. This is made with Pellon interfacing with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and it's been stuffed with fiberfill. That's all it is. You can make your own. You can make your own. All right, you guys, I'm going to go. I got to hunt for a pillow form. I don't want to have you open the pillow and take out a bit of the stuffing. I know, Debbie, it would work, wouldn't it? That's probably what I'll end up doing if I can't find one that's pre-made to put in there. So anyway, oh yeah, and I've got another pillow somewhere with something already on it. So you guys, I'm going to go have breakfast. I'm ready to do that. I'm starting to get hangry. Okay. I will. I'll remove some of the stuffing and it'll work. So this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me to get this all done. And then I'm going to make that pillow fit or find one that does. So I love you guys. I will talk to you later. You guys go sew something. Bye.